the 7th, whatever that was. Either combined.
Okay, the November 13th, 2013 meeting of the Joint Planning and Zoning Commissions will now come to order. Madam Secretary, please note that all members are present with the exception of Mr. Ori. And for the item 3, introduction of staff, do we have the same staff people that we just had? So we'll waive that introduction again. Item number 4, the chairman's comments. The chair has no comments. Item number 5, a public hearing to recommend approval or denial to the Parish Council to consider the following. And I guess for A and B, we would have separate public hearings for each of those sub-items. Item A, Keystone of Galvez PUD Revised Concept Plan, Quality Engineering and Survey, LLC. Is the petitioner here?
Good afternoon. My name is Derek Murphy with Quality Engineering and Surveying, representing Keystone Galvez, LLC, the developer of Keystone Galvez subdivision. We're here tonight to ask for your recommendation for approval for revising the concept plan, the final development plan, and the developer's agreement for Keystone PUD. The changes that we have include the removal of some, walking trails in lieu of the developer donating park area and also donating $50,000 to the park for improvements. We've also, some of those agreements is also, instead of doing a traffic impact study, as we worked out, the developer wanted a certain amount and the parish wanted a certain amount. We worked out, we got with administration, thanks with the planning department, and we worked out a deal where we agreed to $600 a lot for a traffic impact fee as those lots come online with a final plat, in addition to original 749 lots. We also had some minor changes as far as the southeast corner of the property originally was going to be 16 acres of recreational area. This did not come to fruition, as it seemed like the recreation department on that piece didn't want to take it in. So what we're doing is taking that dry mitigation area and making it a wet pond, which we needed some place to put dirt, so we actually added a few lots in there. The original lots in the original PUD, or the original subdivision rather, was 920 lots, which included the first filing, the ninth filing, and the PUD. Now it's 929, so we did add 9 lots in the 900. There are also some other minor changes, as you see, where we moved an entrance sign, and just some small changes as we move things around as far as green space and that kind of stuff. We're still over the requirements of the PUD. The density's still relatively the same, and we're asking tonight for your approval. We've also went out and did some community outreach with the residents of Keystone. We actually did a petition where 28 residents signed that petition that they were in agreement of the changes. We actually have several people here tonight that are residents of the area that this would affect that are for these changes. I think some of them will talk tonight. And so we did do some diligence, met with the residents, made sure that this is something that they would be in support of. So we ask you tonight for approval, and I'm here to answer any questions that y'all might have.
How many residents now in Keystone?
I'm not sure the actual number of homes sold.
Give us a ballpark on that, maybe?
300? Around 300.
Around 300
Yes, sir.
residences. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Commissioners have any questions?
Did anybody sign up to talk? I'd like to hear from some of the residents why they.
Yeah, well, we will have a public hearing at, unless you have any comments here at this point. And before we do that, maybe we'll hear from staff. Have y'all any comments or concerns about this?
We don't have nothing specific that I need to inform y'all of. Everything basically that was presented to us from Derek is in here with And the changes from the previous version that has been approved are all pretty much spelled out in here. And you'll have a copy of the original concept plan and then a copy of the revision. So you can see the differences, and, I mean, they're minimal, but the staff is taking the approach that we're not gonna recommend approval or denial. We're just, we've put everything
Okay, but
in
you'll answer
words
questions,
and
right?
given it to you guys.
Okay, good. Okay, any other questions of commissioners? Okay. Let's go ahead and open up the public hearing at this point then, and Stacy, do we have cards?
One, Marshall
One.
Frank.
Hi.
Hi. I just wanted to come up here.
Identify yourself, please, for the TV.
My name is Marshall Frank. I live
Okay.
at 42423 Pebblestone Avenue. And I just wanted to come up here and let y'all know that I speak on behalf of all the residents that are present tonight, that, I mean, we're in favor of these proposed changes for the PUD. You know, we don't have any objection to them.
Do you feel like it'll be an improvement?
I do.
In what way?
Well, the main thing is the walking trails that are proposed. Yeah, we have one walking trail, and it's a lot of maintenance. It's aggregate, and the rain washes it out a lot. I mean, I've gone running, believe it or not, I run, but I've gone jogging around it, and sometimes it's hard not to sprain an ankle. You know, and I think the elimination of the rest of the proposed walking trails in lieu, you know, with the addition of a park, will overall bring more curb appeal to our neighborhood and help home values.
Any questions of Mr. Frank?
Maybe this is a question for staff or for the developer. The acreage that was going to be donated to the parish for recreation, the parish elected not to accept it because it would be maintenance that they couldn't do, couldn't maintain the park.
The situation, and help me if I'm, this was some time ago that it was opted to be donated, and, I mean, our recreation department has really no funding source.
Right.
And, you know, this is a neighborhood park, and so the parish, as of right now, is not really in the market for parish-owned neighborhood parks. And so, I think as far as the standpoint, is we weren't interested in acquiring that piece of property.
So
within
is there
the
an HOA that's going to maintain that area? Is there an HOA?
Not right
Keystone?
now. I believe
Keystone.
there are plans to develop an HOA. I don't know when that will happen.
Who maintains the trail that you say is not,
I
the walking trail?
I believe that's the developer. Maybe Derek can confirm.
I can answer some of that. Right now, the developer maintains the walking trail. This will be passed on at some point to the homeowners association. That was some of the original talks that the residents had with the developer and a councilman in the area was, look, we see this as, it could be a future burden on the homeowners. We don't feel that a lot of people are gonna be using it based on what we see now. And, you know, what are some other options we could do? And so the developer started talking, and look, and, you know, I can donate more land. Right now, the park that's by the bridge right now is a public park. It is maintained by the recreation department. It was put in with some funding from the developer, but also some funding from the parish. And this will be an extension of that park. It's something that the councilman, you know, we had talked with, and with that comes a $50,000 monetary donation to do improvements and some maintenance and that kind of stuff, working with the residents of the subdivision to figure out what they want to see in that park. So it's not just going to be other people making those decisions. We're bringing those people in who is going to affect their daily, their daily use.
So the money you're talking about donating is for park improvements or for long-term maintenance or both?
Park improvements.
Not for maintenance, not for long-term
Well,
maintenance?
and that depends on, when we get with the Recreation Department and the residents, on how they want to use that. It'll be
Yeah.
a collaborative effort.
I just think this is really interesting in light of the fact that we recently approved a subdivision ordinance change that requires developers to put in walking trails, sidewalks, green space, and other things. It just reminds us that we need to make sure that we do things that are going to be maintainable and not a huge burden on the HOA or the parish in the future. And we were sensitive to that when we passed that ordinance. But it's a good reminder that when you do something like a walking trail, make sure it's going to be something that the residents are going to use, and that it's going to be something maintainable and not become a burden to the HOA in the future.
And I think some of that has to do with the construction standards that were in the new ordinance and things like that, as well as, working with staff and putting together an actual plan and so forth. The maintenance costs on walking trails, whether they're hard surfaced or aggregate surface, it is something to take into account when you're looking at a subdivision or figuring out your dues and that kind of thing on the homeowners.
Any other cards or comments? Okay, well, at this point, what I'd like to do then is close the public hearing. Any other questions or discussions about item 5A, the concept plan? Okay, what is your pleasure here? Mr. Burgess moves for approval.
A second.
Mr. Bishop seconds. Any objection? Okay, that motion carries, and then we will recommend that to the parish council. And Part B is the revised development agreement. This gets a little bit more specific. Mr. Murphy, you want to?
Well, basically with the development agreement, it actually spells out every change that we're doing and everything that the developer, the parish, whatever is committed to. It talks about the $600 per lot donation. It talks about the $50,000, when that's going to be available, when the $600 will be paid, when the commercial can come online, things like that as part of the PUD. So it actually spells out every piece of the puzzle where there's no misconceptions. We have a development agreement in place right now that goes along with the original, and this just is revised to match the revised concept plan.
Okay.
I'd like to make a note, if I could. We skipped over one item on the agenda. The final development plan is actually the item before.
Well, I've
No,
got
well-
a revised agenda.
Never mind, I was working off an old agenda.
Okay, all right. Okay, so, again, this talks specifically. Now, the 710 per lot, that's for the lots from this point forward?
Well, what that is, that was originally, the $710 per lot was in excess of the originally approved 749 lots. See, the original subdivision back in 2004, 2006 that got approved was consistent upon with 749 lots. When the PUD was approved back in 2010, it increased that from 749 lots to 920 lots. So there was a provision originally that caused us to have to go back and do a traffic study. Well, in lieu of that traffic study, we have agreed with the parish to pay $600, which was agreed upon with administration and the developer, instead of the 710, $600 per lot for basically an impact fee as those lots get platted. And so that's for the parish to use for traffic improvements in that area. And it also includes, if you look in the developer's agreement, it also includes some specific wording about traffic fees or impact fees for commercial within this PUD. So in lieu of doing a study and coming up with what improvements might be needed, we decided you
Just a
know,
flat
that
fee.
way the parish could be matching funds to the state or federal level or what have you in order to try to get more dollars in this area.
All right. Okay. Any other questions of commissioners?
One question out of clarity. A second ago, you said, this is not a donation, this is an assessment, am I correct? It's not like they have an option to say, I don't want to pay this.
On the $600?
Yes.
No, sir. It's before the final plat gets signed in this parish, the developer will have to write the parish a check for $600 per lot
Per lot.
before it can be platted. And that's inclusive into this PUD.
All right, any other questions?
What's the 710?
Well, the 710 originally was what planning was asking, and of course, the developer was a lot less than that. And we got with planning, we went to administration, and we had agreed to the $600. Is that correct?
It is correct, yeah.
So the packet, this happened after the Wednesday packet went out. This was Wednesday afternoon, $600.
So instead of 710, this should be 600?
Yes, sir.
And is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only question is, does what is shown to us accurately reflect what staff?
The only change is from 710 to 600. That's the only change in the document.
Like to hear them say that.
And in the development agreement itself, it states 500, so we'll have to change that to 600.
But all other things.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Correct, yes, sir.
As you can see, staff was at 700, the developer was at 5.
I just want to
Got
make sure all the
together.
other
Right.
elements are what they
Yeah.
agreed to.
Okay. All right, at this point then, we'll open a public hearing for this item. And of course, I guess it's pretty much similar to the other one. Do we have any cards on this? Okay, anyone would like to speak? Okay, well, let's close the public hearing. Then, any other questions, comments? I'll entertain a motion on this item.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman, with the corrected items.
Okay, Mr. Nizo moves to approve.
I second.
Mr. Chafisi seconds. Any objection? That stands approved. Now, in item 6, this is a public hearing. It doesn't go to the council, right? This is just something that we vote on for approval of the
Yes, that
final
is-
development plan.
That is correct.
Okay. So that's agenda item 6. And again, quality engineering and surveying. This is revised final development plan for Keystone. 3rd through 8th filings.
Yes, sir. What this is basically, as you know, as a concept gets approved, then we do a more detailed plan called a final development plan. All this is all those changes, again, more detailed on, the plats that you have. So we're here to answer any questions that y'all might have on it.
Okay, the comments I see here in blue, those have all been addressed?
Yes, sir, they've all been addressed.
Okay.
Well, those are all staff questions?
Yes, sir.
Questions from staff? Okay.
Okay, any questions of commissioners? Okay, at this point then, we'll open up a public hearing for agenda item 6A. Comment cards? Anyone want to comment? Okay, we'll close the public hearing, and I'll entertain a motion for agenda item 6A.
I recommend approval.
Mr. Chafisi moves to approve. Second by Mr. Bishop. Any objection? That motion stands approved. Agenda item 7, adjourn. Any objection? Okay, we'll adjourn, and we'll go to the zoning meeting in 5 minutes.